Deutsche Bank said Turkish local assets were hit last week by one of the largest bouts of foreign disinvestment in the last 5 years. The outflow signaled bearish market sentiment towards Turkey, which has seen the lira weaken in recent days, in part due to concern about a flare-up in fighting in Syria's Idlib region, to which Turkey has sent military reinforcements. Deutsche Bank noted that within equities, the share of foreign holdings to market capitalization of the index was close to its all-time low. Unemployment in the Palestinian labor force rose 25% in 2019, revealed an official report by the Palestinian Central Bureau of Statistics. The number of unemployed was 343,800 in 2019, with 215,100 in the Gaza Strip and 128,700 in the West Bank. The unemployment rate in Gaza reached 45% compared to 15% in the West Bank, while unemployment among males was 21% compared to 41% for females. Total labor underutilization stood at 487,400 people, including 73,100 discouraged job seekers and 20,500 in time-related underemployment. Arabian Gulf countries have had a high ranking in the 2020 Agility Emerging Markets Logistics Index, with UAE and Saudi Arabia among the top 10 logistics markets. In the GCC, the UAE ranked 3rd, Saudi Arabia 6th, Oman 14th, Bahrain 15th and Kuwait 19th. From Southeastern Asia, Indonesia came 4th, Malaysia 5th, Thailand 9th and Vietnam 11th. Gulf countries outperform most other emerging market regions in the index, a broad gauge of competitiveness based on logistics, strength and business fundamentals. The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia announced the signing of 6 contracts with global companies to provide medical equipment and supplies to China in its effort to combat the new coronavirus outbreak. The deals were signed by the King Salman Humanitarian Aid and Relief Center and coordinated with the Chinese Embassy in the Kingdom. KS Relief Supervisor General Dr. Abdullah Rabi'a said the first shipment of emergency aid will arrive in China in 5 days. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov will meet his Turkish counterpart Mevlut Çavuşoğlu in Munich on Sunday on the sidelines of the Munich Security. Statements from Turkish Defense Minister Hulusi Akar about Syria's Idlib, after Ankara said it would use force against opposition groups violating a ceasefire in the region. Turkey has allied with some opposition factions in Idlib against regime leader Bashar al-Assad and has boosted its troops, arms and equipment in the region after 13 of its soldiers were killed by Damascus forces in just over a week. Egypt's Minister of Petroleum and Mineral Resources Tariq Al-Mullah has discussed with Fahad Al-Ammari, General Manager of Area Projects Upstream Project Management Saudi Aramco, and his accompanying delegation, reinforcing bilateral cooperation on imports, petroleum products and crude oil. On the sidelines of the Egypt Petroleum Show of 2020, Mullah underscored the strong developing ties between Aramco and the petroleum sector. He asserted that there is full coordination with Aramco in light of ties between the two countries. The Egyptian minister noted that this cooperation opens more opportunities for Egyptian firms specialized in engineering designs and contracting to increase their activities in Saudi Arabia. German authorities searched sites linked to 5 people on suspicion that they formed a right-wing terrorist organization and planned to carry out attacks against politicians and minorities, including Muslims. Federal prosecutors said the raids took place at 13 locations in 6 states. No arrests were made. Prosecutors said the 5 suspects are alleged to have formed an organization in September of 2019 with the aim of overthrowing the state and social order in Germany. Government-backed Iranian hackers have targeted universities in Europe, the United States and Australia in recent months, Consultancy PricewaterhouseCoopers has found it is unclear whether the attempts to break into computer systems, including those of 3 Dutch universities, were successful, said Reuters. The hackers were attempting to steal academic literature and course material to use in Iranian schools, the NOS said, citing PricewaterhouseCoopers cybersecurity specialist Gerwin Naber. A rocket hit a base in northern Iraq that hosts U.S. forces but caused no casualties, Iraqi security sources said. The base, known as K1 near the city of Kirkuk, is where a U.S. civilian contractor was killed in December in a similar attack, blamed by Washington on Iran-backed militias. U.S. warplanes had scrambled and were soaring overhead shortly after the attack on Thursday. Turkish-backed Syrian rebels shot down a government helicopter west of Aleppo in Syria's northwestern Idlib region, where violence and displacement has spiked in recent weeks. A rebel military source and eyewitnesses told Reuters Russian jets had been targeting areas in the countryside west of Aleppo early on Friday, but they evacuated back to the city after the helicopter was downed. The Syrian Observatory War Monitor said on Friday that Turkey had deployed around 6,500 soldiers to reinforce existing units in northwest Syria, as well as some 1,900 military vehicles since early February. Iran's parliamentary elections were thrown into turmoil after thousands of potential candidates were excluded from standing. The elections, due to take place on February 21st, will be the first test of the government since protests erupted across the country in the aftermath of the downing of a Ukrainian airliner by the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps to the Council. Of Iran's 83 million population, almost 50 million are eligible to vote. Police took a man into custody after he fired multiple gunshots into the air in central Bangkok, injuring no one less than a week after a soldier killed 29 people in a shooting rampage in northeastern Thailand. The incident in the Thai capital was related to a personal conflict, Lieutenant General Pakkapong Pongpetra, chief of the Metropolitan Police Bureau, told reporters. He said the suspect surrendered and agreed to accompany police to their station. The Justice Department has added new criminal charges against Chinese tech giant Huawei and several subsidiaries, accusing the company of a brazen scheme to steal trade secrets from competitors in America. The new indictment also alleges the company provided surveillance equipment to Iran that enabled the monitoring of protesters during 2009 anti-government demonstrations in Tehran, and that it sought to conceal business that it was doing in North Korea despite economic sanctions there. The company issued a statement Thursday evening disputing the allegations and calling them without merit. A U.S. Navy ship seized 150 Iranian-manufactured anti-tank guided missiles after boarding a vessel while conducting maritime security operations in the Arabian Sea. The statement added that the operation is ongoing and further information will be shared as it becomes available. Under a United Nations resolution, Tehran is prohibited from supplying, selling, or transferring weapons outside the country unless approved by the Security Council. A separate UN resolution on Yemen bans the supply of weapons to Houthi leaders. As the bunch of brightly colored balloons floated into Gaza's evening sky, there was a piercing crackle of gunfire. Moments earlier, the balloons had been launched by a group of masked young Palestinian men huddled near the El Bureij refugee camp. They attached explosives to the weapon before setting it adrift towards Israel. Israeli troops along the border tried to down the device, but the balloons floated on.